Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're gonna write a brand new essay. So let's look at this question. And oh, by the way, we have lots of videos in this playlist, so go check it out. There's probably dozens and dozens of videos. And there will of course continue to be more of these, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And at the end, once you feel like the video was useful to you, just make sure you click on the like button. Yeah? Okay, let's get started. Some people feel that it is impossible for a country to be economically progressive and environmentally friendly at the same time. Others disagree with this view. Discuss both points of view and give your own opinion. So, the discussion essay, and we're going to first, what I like to do anyway, is to list out my ideas and have my main ideas written down as well. This is something I've been doing for a long time, but in case you feel like you might want to write your introduction first, that also works. Ultimately, you do what's most comfortable. This is what I would prefer. So first I need to write the main idea, and then I have a couple supporting ideas, another main idea, and that's it. So first, I need to figure out which side do I support more than the other, because that one's going to be body paragraph number 2. So here, possible for a country to become progressive and environmentally friendly at the same time. So do you think you can be both progressive economically and environmentally friendly, or do you not? Yeah, I would say that I think this is realistic. So whatever both goals are, goals are achievable simultaneously, and it may, at first glance, it may seem economic progress and progress and preservation are synonymous to each other. Yep, it may seem that progress and preservation are antonyms, they're opposites of each other. Why? Because, for example, how do you as a country progress when you earn money, or when your products are in demand? It's essentially, it boils down to making money. So building more pollution naturally, or more trade, more, again, more pollution, more damage, because you ship, for example, when you build more infrastructure, more pollution, exploiting resources brings the most money. For example, all these oil countries, right? There's countries that have a lot of natural resources. For example, a lot of, for example, Congo, if I'm not wrong, and a couple countries, I think, in southern Africa. And then, of course, you've got the Saudi countries. They have a lot of oil. The African countries, they have a lot of rich minerals. I think Argentina, maybe Argentina, it could be some other country, I don't remember, but they have a lot of lithium. But all these things, you really have to drill deep into, the land, the sea, to get at them, right? And that causes damage. So how can you be environmentally friendly? More money actually gives you the ability to work in environmentally friendly manners. I'm going to use short forms. And of course you can do, because nobody's going to look at your notes. Note making is for you and you only. More money. In fact, working in environmentally friendly manner guarantees less cleanup later on, not have to deal with negative effects, right? Because let's say, okay, you have, for example, okay, you as a country, you started building things massively, didn't care about the environment. But then that's gonna come back to bite you, right? Because, oh, now I have to deal with all this pollution. Now I have to deal with rivers that the water cannot be used. The fish are dying. Fish farmers, they can't, they can't feed their families. You're gonna have to deal with that. And how do you deal with that? Well, dealing with those problems is expensive. But if you work in an environmentally friendly manner, then you don't harm the environment and you don't have to spend more money fixing the problem because it didn't create the problem, right? So I do think that it requires a bit of planning, of course, but now more than ever, you have more choices. Maybe the last one isn't so great. That seems more like a general sentence. So more money, that means you can work, you have more options. For example, you can desalinate ocean water, but that's a very expensive process. But if you have more money, you have more options. Generally, that applies to people and to countries as well. So let's clean up. Let's don't have to spend more money dealing with negative effects. And what else? Well, let me take an example of working in an environmentally friendly manner, not using toxic dyes in clothing, for example. Okay, so maybe the item cost would of course be higher. Like if let's say a clothing manufacturer in Bangladesh, for example, is of course the labor costs and everything that's going to be way less. But if you manufacture somewhere in, let's say, France, for example, you're going to have, of course, the item is going to cost more because you're paying labor far more. You're paying for, well, it depends on where you source your material from. And also you may have relevant laws that you may not have in one place that you have in another place. And so that drives up the cost of an item. Let's say, a piece of clothing, a t-shirt maybe. But again, also, people and governments more willing to trade and work with environmentally friendly governments. Because now people are so aware. The average consumer also cares about the environment. They're gonna write you an email or they're gonna write on your social media, hey, why did you pack this item with so much plastic? And so people are becoming smarter. Say that. So I would say to be successful nowadays, you must be environmentally friendly. Otherwise, you will get called out. Now, I'm going to check if my ideas are in order. Building more infrastructure, more pollution, damage. I think that works fine. More money. Yep, that works fine. Then I'm going to write my introduction. Environmentally friendly. Okay. Okay. What do I have to do? This is a discussion essay. Okay, so I'm going to write I'm gonna write my second sentence first. That's very weird, but I just need to arrange things like that in my brain. So all these two goals may initially seem to be I'm gonna change this to might. Organic preservation might appear to be okay. May initially seem to be well, these two goals may be contradictory. A closer look allows a closer look proves that this need not be the case. Okay, so that's my second sentence. I wrote first. And I'm going to write my first background sentence. So, okay, I need to talk about the environment essentially. Okay. Has been a rise in society's concerns about the environment, concerns and awareness. And preserving it seems growth and development. Okay, something like that. That works. Then I've got my first sentence. Progress and preservation. Okay. And Mr. Other. This is largely due to development. Usually, not always, development is usually a result of more infrastructure building projects, which obviously, naturally, during the building phase. Or trade. As a country develops or grows, a country starts to trade more. I need a transition here. Another contributing factor is countries' imports and exports. When countries start trade more, they which naturally trade more, trade in increasing amounts, or okay, well, let me read the whole thing. Progress and preservation might appear to be antonyms to each other. This is largely due to the fact that development is usually a result of more infrastructure being built, which naturally leads to more pollution of all types during the building phase. Another contributing factor is a country's imports. Okay, well, that should be R. Well, it's a factor, so in this sense, okay, you can always rephrase your sentence if it sounds weird, odd, strange, not quite nice. Contributing factor, yep. A country's imports and exports are a contributing factor. Okay, so contribute more. They will, use forms of transport, such as air travel and ocean travel. Will contribute to greenhouse emissions, greenhouse and other emissions. Not to mention the harm this causes, these two forms, or the harm it also caused to marine life. Okay, what else? The last thing is exploiting resources. I've already said another factor, so I'm gonna, I'm gonna rephrase this because it's such a huge sentence. Why is it so? This is for 47 words and that's crazy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this over here. A country, another important part of, have I already, development is international aid and when countries start, there we go. Okay, another important movement is national trade. Or you don't even need and. What you can do is you can just semicolon. There we go. And the last one is exploiting resources. Okay, so I've already said another important. This is due to the fact that and the last one is about exploiting. Most countries, many countries fund their development or their, economic progress through their exploitation of their resources, which is an intensive process that leaves much ecological destruction. Wait. Okay. Which is an intensive process, intensive, time-consuming, and laborious process. Leaves much. You can ignore the underline. Or, well, why are you annoying me like this? Okay, what I'll do is end arduous. I feel like I have said the wrong language. Sometimes it corrects me when I... Okay, so it's... Oh! Huh, there isn't a language set. That is really weird. I should... Okay, great. Now it won't annoy me. Arduous is a much nicer word too, but it means the same thing. I would say it's more academic. Intensive, time consuming, and arduous. I don't even need these words actually. I mean, you could just write intensive and that covers all of it, but okay, well, that's fine. That leaves much wake, and oh, then I have to write my last sentence. So, plus, it might, okay, I've already used mine. Okay. Okay, bringing together, or let's say, there's this term that people use, realizing, okay, trying to protect the environment while destroying it. Yeah, it seems strange proposition. And then that's a very sarcastic sentence. Okay, well, then my next sentence right here. However, both goals are achieved simultaneously. My idea is over here, so I'll copy them. What I'll do is I'll bring this down here. Great. Okay, so what governments need above all else for any goal is money. Right? You need money for whatever it is. Doesn't matter what your goal is, you need money. And so what governments need above all else for any goal is and when countries are able to be, economically successful, right? They are able to afford. I mean, a poor country cannot afford better technology, right? Better technologies and processes that reduce or even avoid harming the environment. Tap so quickly, sometimes I end up... Okay. Okay. I've got ability to work. Great. And when projects are carried out in a manner that avoids... Oh, I've already used avoid. Oops, okay. That prevents causing any harm in the first place, causing any damage, even if such technology or, technologies or systems cost more money up front, they end up saving quite a lot in the future, as there is little to no cleanup left to do, and few, if any, negative effects to deal with. Oops, what did... that should be E if... Ah, great. When projects carried out, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's a huge sentence. Yes, it's 60-word sentence. What was I thinking? And then when parts are carried out in a manner that prevents causing any damage in the first place, even if such technologies or systems cost more money up front, they end up saving quite a lot of money in the future, as there's little to no cleanup left to do and few, if any, negative effects to deal with. Right? And yet another important, well, this is such a tired sounding thing. Another important. I want to avoid using that. So, lastly could be used, but then again, it's so boring. Lastly, I don't want to write lastly. Uh, Ultimately, one also needs to consider changing yeah, how society and people have changed. More and more consumers and governments are very aware of the challenges faced by our planet and are unlikely to want to work with or what's that word? Patronize, exactly. Work with or patronize any businesses or governments that are not actively working in environmentally friendly manners. In an environmentally friendly manner. Oops, what happened here? In an there we go. Okay. One also needs to consider how society and people have changed. More and more consumers and got more and more is repetitive. So it's repetitive. I don't need that. Increasingly more consumers and governments are very aware of the challenges faced by our planet and are unlikely to want to work with or patronize any businesses or governments that are not actively working in an environmentally friendly manner. And finally, my last sentence that's gonna be I have already used thus. So now I'll use something else, just for variety's sake. Now I'm not saying you can't. You can you can reuse it, no problem. But again, I'm trying to demonstrate the higher quality. So, hence, although at first glance, but I don't want to repeat although again. I've used however and although. Okay, great. So, despite the initial sense of yeah, opposition, not really opposition, keeping, let's say, actually help people, would actual governments will actually help, actually help countries, progress. There we go. And I need my conclusions. Well, in conclusion, that, despite the fact that, the two, I've already used goals, haven't I? All right, okay. The two ideals of mental protection and growth and development seem opposed to each other. And examined crucially. Oh, I've already used. Okay. Examined crucially. Harmonious and can be achieved with right planning. And maybe some kind of warning, suggestion, that would be a good thing as well. So if let's say if one goal is sacrificed for the other, it would only lead to I don't want to say misery, maybe, but yeah, you know, it makes sense. It would only lead to greater, only lead to failure and suffering. Maybe not suffering, but one goal is sacrifice. It would only lead to maybe not failure. Let me think. If one goal is sacrifice, failure, um, it would only lead to short-term progress. It would not. It um, would not support long-term progress in support that country's long-term progress and welfare. There we go. There's the whole thing. Okay, let's check the word count. So this is 401 words. And here you got your introduction. The introduction is 51 words. So that's the introduction. You can pause the screen. And then we have paragraph 1 right here. You can again just click on the screen to pause it so you can read this. And we've got body paragraph number 2, the first half. And then it continues on the next page. In fact, I should make this pageless. Hold on. There's no reason why this. There we go. Okay, so now that's the second paragraph. Now it's pageless. It's 163. That's quite meaty. Okay, and then you have your conclusion. That's 57. And that's that. That's the entire essay. And we took, let's have a look at the time, just under 27 minutes. And that's with all the yapping that I do. Okay, so that was that. If you found the video useful, don't forget to click on like, leave a comment down below in case you would like to share anything, or if you feel like you have any comments, any feedback, anything that you would like me to do. I'd be happy to, you know, look into it. So yeah, and don't forget there's a huge playlist linked somewhere down below. You'll find tons of writing videos, especially for you know, task 2 for your essay. But there's also letter writing videos, and of course there's also speaking videos. So go ahead and check those out, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.